Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. Your Fielder's Choice, College Football, DFS. What are we at? DFS Strategy. So, sorry. We've been doing so many shows here, but it's a strategy show. We're here tonight for the Saturday main slate. It's going to be a 13-game slate now because the USC game got canceled. So, we're here to break it all down. So, welcome, everybody. If anybody is new to Your Fielder's Choice, we'll be on demand for a couple of days, actually, before the show, before the slate actually kicks off. Kind of a new site. We've been around about a year, but we're a niche sports site, pretty much cover all small sports. If DK covers it, we cover it, but also we do our other sports too, like, MLB, NFL's our flagship. But we love our college sports. We pretty much have been having live streams every night. We've got a college basketball live stream Tuesday night and Wednesday night this week. And tomorrow we have a EPL soccer, I believe. Usually in the middle of the day. But there's a lot going on. We're doing good tonight in college basketball. We've been doing really well in college football. Well, I gotta hit my fan. It's 1,000 degrees down here in Tampa. But what else? I just got myself screwed up here. I'm looking at scores, I want this Arizona State game to end in college basketball. But $25 a month. First 2 months for anybody subscribed right now. We have a free special going. Everything is free at our site until Sunday to celebrate college basketball first year. So check our site out, yourfielderschoice.com. Everything's free. We have an article every single slate. Like we had an article for college football, even a showdown tonight. We had articles for today's college basketball, NFL showdown, and so on. But you guys deserve for college football. So let's get into it. It's a 13-game slate. Start at 14. We're going to pretty much go starting from the 12 p.m. games. Once I'm solo tonight, I'm supposed to be with my man Adam, but he had some other issues going on, so I am solo. So you have to stick with me. First game is going to be Mississippi State and Auburn. We're pretty much going to be talking on about pretty much cash games. If I'm talking prices or good plays, it's going to be cash. If I think it's a GBP, I'll throw it in there. But first game, Auburn, Mississippi State. We have an over/under of 50. So it's pretty much in the middle of the slate. Mississippi's implied total team implies 22-25. Auburn's 27-75. Auburn's a 5.5 point favorite. It's been a weird year for Mississippi State. They've always been like, this is the Air Raid, Mike Leach team, but kind of a mess this year. They're not a good DFS team. Will Rogers is okay. But, Auburn's a very good defense. So, not playable. You're looking at their receivers, Mordecai Polk at good receiver, though, at 7.6, though, GBP only. I just think right now Polk is definitely too high for an Auburn team right now. It's they're around 224 yards per year, 137 yards on the ground. Their defense, GBP only. Couple other guys, though, possibly Jaden Wally. We actually played a lot last year. He's down to 4.8 GBP. And you got Austin Williams at 3.7. Another play, possibly Malik Heath. Heath, what is Heath? I think Heath is 3.3. Malik Heath is only 3.3, but Heath's not bad. Doesn't take much from McValue. Get a touchdown, a couple passes. But these guys are all GBP plays. Dylan Johnson, the running back. You got two running backs here. You got Dylan Johnson, 3.9. He does get some targets. Make one touchdown, gets value. I don't know, man. So this whole game is tough for DFS. We do have, but he's expensive. Is a running back, Jacarvius Marks. Marks is 6.7. But you look at his stat line. I mean, it's not the greatest, but he's averaging 31 rushes a game, 8.8 yards per carry. He's only rushed for just 4 touchdowns. But in a PPR format like DraftKings, Marks kind of actually does have some fantasy value. So he's one of there's not too many backs in the slate that can actually run the ball and catch the ball. He's one of them. Right now, he's averaging 19.2 fantasy points per game. So it's 10th amongst running backs on this weekend's slate. 6.7 salary is the 14th highest salary. So probably still GBP only. But when you look at Marcus's receiving line, 64 catches, 390 yards, 3 touchdowns. His per game stats is 13.4 fantasy points. So maybe Marcus is probably your best play of this game on Mississippi State. Once again, it's weird. We're talking about Mississippi State and DFS, and we're not talking great plays, but all GBP plays. On the other side, you got Bo Nix starting for Auburn. I don't know, man. Bo Nix is the type of guy where doesn't have a ceiling, but he's unpredictable. But then you look at his price; he's 6'1". It's probably way too cheap. Is he volatile? Of course, he's volatile. But he's facing below average defense. He's at home. We have seen him with a 30-point upside. I know I talked to people earlier today. I said they're playing Bo Nix because of the price. I had no problem. You can even game stack this and hope it goes off, especially as Mississippi State. But to me, Nix is a GPP play, but maybe a little bit better as some people are saying though, because he's 6'1". And once again, he's at home. We've seen him at 30-point upside. We know he can definitely hit it against Mississippi State, where Mississippi State's allowing 220 yards per game in the air. So kind of mid-range. So GPP plays only. So Mississippi State, Auburn, pushed it out of the way. GBP play, GBP game. Next game, West Virginia at Kansas State. Another, I think, is kind of a blah game for DFS. You look at the game totals, more toward the bottom is a 47 over/under. Kansas State is a 6-point favorite. Some news seeing is Jarrett Dagey may sit. If not, he may not play the whole game. This because he's terrible. And I do have interest, though, if Jarrett Dagey sits, and if we get news of that before the game happens, if they actually play Garrett Green at quarterback at 5K, I'd have no problem running Garrett Green out as one of my quarterbacks, possibly even for cash. He's got 4 touchdowns on the year, totally playable, but we need that news before the game. The good thing, though, this is an early game. It's the 12 p.m. game, so it's probably more or less Dagey's going to start, and then Green comes in. But if we have news, Dagey's sitting, he's terrible, Green starting, I have no problem running Garrett Green out of 5K because he's a runner. We've seen him score touchdowns already. He's got some talent. We're all out there. Ugly game, though. Deuce Vaughn is in this game. We love Deuce Vaughn in DFS. But, man, Deuce Vaughn now is up to 9-7. And that's just way too much to play in this game environment. West Virginia's not a pushover. They're only allowing 122 yards on the ground. Not a great matchup for Deuce. GBP, good. I mean, we know he's going to be low home. It's a high price. Play him in GBPs, but definitely not cash. On the other side, our favor, who I've been playing, it seems like for years, Letty Brown. Letty Brown now, though, is down to 6-1. He got shut down again last week to the Cowboys. Could be a possible bounce back spot. I mean, Kansas State is a good defense, only have 117 yards on the ground. But you want a GBP play, another one's going to be lower owned. You can even game stack Letty and Deuce Vaughn in this game, but GBP plays. But don't sleep on Letty this week. I can definitely see this as a bounce back for Letty Brown, especially that price at 6-1. But that's pretty much it. Once again, this is more of a GPP game. If anything, kind of a blog game, maybe a better game to watch than DFS, a better real-life game. All right, week 3, game 3. Next game we got is Oklahoma Baylor. So first look at this game, you think, wow, we got a great DFS game. So it's right now, this game right now has got the second highest over-under at 62. Oklahoma's a favorite by 5.5 points. 33.75 implied for Oklahoma, 28.25 implied for Baylor. Oklahoma's got the sixth highest implied of the slate. But dive into this game a little bit further. I'm not in love with this for DFS either. Baylor last week definitely looking ahead to this Oklahoma game. TCU caught him sneaking, snuck up on him. Boom. Next thing you know, Baylor's on the ground. So, Caleb Williams, 10K. probably the best raw quarterback on the slate. If money didn't matter, you play Caleb Williams, but he's on the road. I mean, he's on the road. 10K's a lot. It's gonna be real hard to get to in cash. I ended up actually playing him. Was it 2 weeks ago? And I was able to get a call. I didn't think I would. Had a really good game. Won me money. But I really see this week, I see Baylor. They were looking ahead of this game over last week. I think Baylor's going to keep this even closer. I can even see Baylor winning this game. So I'm not going to go up all the way up to Caleb Williams. He's just way too much in cash at 10K. There's really nobody else in Oklahoma that I'm in love with the play. Definitely got the running backs. Kenny Brooks at 7.7 to me is too high. The receivers, maybe you got a guy like Mario Williams at 4K. I mean, let me see his last 6K. I mean, I'm trying to call up GBP only, but a guy like Mario Williams could definitely do some damage for you. Looking at his last Tech game, he caught 5 catches. Didn't play Kansas. TCU 1, Texas 3, Kansas State 3 catches. So he's only had 6, 9, 12 catches in the last 4 games. He's seeing 5 to 6 targets a game. He did have a touchdown last week against Tech. But GBP, but I don't mind the price. Marvin Mims, a 6'4", GBP only. But all it takes is one big play from Mims to make it. Only needs that one big touchdown. So these guys are all GBP. You would think, though, with this high implied, I told you want a bunch of Oklahoma guys. They're all priced appropriately. If anything, they're too high. So Mario Williams would be my favorite sneaky play at 4K, but GBP. Now, on the other side for Baylor, you got Bohannon at 7.2, the quarterback. He's playable. We've seen him. He put up 20 DK points against TCU. 214 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also threw 2 picks. So, but I'm a Bohannon guy. I think Bohannon's a safe enough quarterback where you can play him. He's 7.2. This is not a great quarterback slate again today. So you can kind of throw him in that little, maybe that cash bucket at the end. You go over, see if he's playable, but he's definitely borderline playable for cash. Abram Smith. I'm looking at Abram Smith. I'm a huge Abram Smith fan. Smith this week's a 7-1. Probably more of a GBP play. But Smith does have 3 300-yard games, 6 touchdowns in his last 5 games. Great player. I said I'm a huge fan of him. But at that 7-1 range, I think it's a couple other running backs. If you want in that range, you'd probably take better for cash. But definitely GBPs. He's going to be lower owned. We know what Smith can do. Anybody else? Tristan Ebner. Ebner's all the way down now to 4K. He lost the job. He lost the job to Abram Smith. Finally, they seemed like they fought over the whole year. But now look at his last couple of games. Now he did touch the ball 12 times last week, only 39 yards. Did score a touchdown. The Texas game touched the ball 12 times, 66 yards. BYU 11 times. So we know Ebner's going to get the ball 11, 12 times. No matter if he scores touchdown, he ends up being a great value over at 4K. But probably to me, it's all Abram Smith, Ebner GBP play. Possibly Tyquan Thornton, 6'8". So once again, I'm picking right now Baylor to win this game. So if Baylor does win, it's going to be because of Bohannon and Tyquan Thornton. And we've seen right now Oklahoma's been exposed by WR1s through the whole season. Thornton's a real deal. To me, Thornton's an NFL player. If this game shoots out, I could definitely see Thornton at, what do we say? Thornton is 6'8", being a top 5-6 receiver on the slate. So Thornton is at a price 6'8", probably GBP, but definitely you can game stack this, throw Thornton and Bohannon together with on the other side of the Caleb Williams, but don't sleep on Tyquan Thornton this week at 6'8". Definitely. Once again, this is probably more GBP games. Plays. Next game, UCF SMU. Some news here. I guess first of all, let's go with the odds before. I think it's some news, but look at the over under 61.5. So this is the third highest over under on the slate SMU's a one touchdown, 7-point favorite, 34-25 implied. Central Florida 27-25. And you think about, and back in August, we would be circling this game on our calendar, saying this is a great DFS game, DFS goodness, DFS gold, all that. But once again, Central Florida now has about a bunch of injuries to the quarterback, to the receivers. SMU's had some issues themselves. So let's start, though. SMU, they're coming off another loss. This is a strange team, man. They got receivers too spread out. Last week was Danny Gray's week. But Danny Gray's not worth the money. That's 7-1 because we don't know. If anything, I'm going Reggie Roberson at 4-8. They got a bunch of good receivers. They got Roberson. They got Danny Gray. They got Rashee Rice at 5-7. Grant Calcaterra at 4-3 to tight end. But you never know what's going to go. Once again, know if I'm going to play anybody, it's not going to be Roberson. His last 3 games, 3 catches, 33 yards, 5 catches, 58 yards, 3 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown. So Roberson's not having the year we thought he would. But now his price, at least his price is showing it at 4.8. The news I was going to talk about is it looks like Sonny Dykes came out for SMU and said that Preston Stone is going to get some snaps this week. Preston Stone is a big time recruit, highly heralded recruit. They love him. Obviously, like him more than Tanner Mordecai, the real quarterback. So he's gonna when Preston Stone takes over his SMU team, he's gonna be a huge DFS player, huge DFS star. So with that news, Tanner Mordecai, who a lot of people right now are tabbing as a great cash play, 8-7, to me, falls out of cash because of the possibility he's losing snaps this week to Preston Stone, their big freshman. GBP only for Tanner Mordecai. I'm not saying play Preston Stone in GBPs because once again, it could be coach speak. He may get 3 snaps or whatever, but I'm seeing a lot of quotes. But Sonny Dykes is definitely saying we're going to get him in the game just to let him see what he can do. So the Stone era, which he actually did play against Tulane in the final drive, may begin this weekend. And it's kind of sad because Tanner Mordecai has been healthy. He's actually one touchdown away from breaking a single season school record. But they want Stone in there. So once the news gets out there, Mordecai may end up being a decent GBP play. Everybody's going to be off him. But definitely pull Mordecai from cash. On the UCF end, kind of some decent news. Jalen Robinson, the stud receiver, looks like he's going to be back this week. He's trending toward playing, but he's going to be limited. So definitely not in cash. Jalen Robinson has won me a bunch of money, but 5.9 is a great price, but don't play him in cash. He's going to be limited. Once again, also remember it's Mikey Keene throwing in the ball. So, like we said, beginning of the season, we thought this would be a great game, but now we got Mikey Keene throwing the ball, possibly Preston Stone. So the DFS goodness goes away. You see at the running back, Bowser. Bowser may be out. He did re-aggravate the injury last week. I haven't heard anything lately. So he may be trending being out. If he is out, Johnny Richardson becomes a little bit intriguing at 4.6. GBP only. O'Keefe, the receiver. Ryan O'Keefe's been good, but he's 7.2 now. Too high. GBP only. And then it leaves us one other play I don't mind this week, and probably for GBPs, is Trey Siggers, the running back. He's 5'6". We're not sure yet on news on the rest of the runners, but if Siggers starts, definitely worth a shot. Because UCF's got a bad rush defense. They're giving them 155 yards per game on the ground. So Siggers is going to come in lower owned also because everyone's going to want to use the SMU passing attack because their passing attack is so good. But don't sleep on Trey Siggers at 5'6". Once again, GBP only. All right, so just keep that in the back of your mind that Chandler Mordecai may not play the whole game. Preston Stone may be in there, the highly rated freshman, and Mordecai becomes a GPP player only. So that's it for UCF SMU game. Now we're going to Rutgers, Indiana. Another great DFS game here. Kind of a weird week. Rutgers, Indiana, third lowest implied over-under on the slate at only 42.5. Indiana is at home. They're favored by a touchdown, which is kind of hard to believe. Rutgers implies only 17.75. So once again, this game is screwed up right now with Indiana. We don't know who's going to be the quarterback yet. The latest I'm seeing is Michael Penix and Tuttle are both practicing. That's the latest. They're practicing more. But as of right now, Donovan Mccauley is considered a starting quarterback. So a couple of things now. If Donovan Mccauley ends up starting at 4.9, he's definitely playable, maybe even in cash at 4.9. It's not going to take much for him to make value. If Penix or Tuttle do play, to me, Ty Freifogel at 4.6 becomes an elite play. They're definitely not in play with Donovan Mccauley. If you've seen the games, Donovan Mccauley cannot throw a ball. So more of a runner. If Penix or Tuttle will play, Ty Freifogel's elite at 4.6. I also believe Mike Marshall's in play, definitely at 3.2. And then might as well throw in there also Peyton Hendershot at 4.6. I mean, if you can pretty much play Peyton Hendershot every week, he's going to give you some upside. He's going to, he's consistent. He's not going to break a slate. He's not going to lose a slate for you. So Marshall, Freifogel, Hendershot, all in play, especially Freifogel, if Penix and Tuttle play. If they don't play, and it's McCulley, cross small off, but McCulley's in play possibly as a cash play because he's so cheap at 4.9. Stephen Carr, the running back at 5.3. If he's out, he got hurt last week. Left the game last week. He had a good game with it 2 weeks ago. If Carr's out, possibly, what's the other running backs? Chris Childers at 4.5 could possibly be decent play, especially if we know Carr's out and Chris Childers is going to get the bulk of the runs. That's a bad play at 4.5. On the Rutgers end, I'm a Rutgers guy. Noah Bedrell is banged up a bit, but he should play. From what I'm seeing he should play. So if he plays, I love Bo Melton. To me, Bo Melton's a damn stud. Does not get the accolades he should. But what's Bo Melton this week? Bo Melton is 5K. So actually a decent price for Bo Melton. I'm calling up his stats here. He is Wisconsin, cut the ball 6 times, 61 yards. Actually ran the ball once. Illinois, 5 catches, 58. Northwestern, 8 catches, 101. Bo Melton's definitely in play. He's going to get volume, especially now with Crankshot out. So I like Bo Melton. Another play I may even like better is Shameen Jones at 3.1. Now, as long as Noah Bedrell plays, I think Shameen Jones at 3.1 could possibly be one of your throw-ins, even in a cash game, if you want to. But he's so cheap. Wisconsin only caught 1 ball, but once again, Wisconsin's good defense. Game before at Illinois, he caught 5 passes, 48 yards. Northwestern caught 3 passes. Michigan State, everybody beats on Michigan State. We'll talk about that later. 8 catches for 109. So not going to take much for Shameen Jones to make value. So I like Shameen Jones at 3.1. I like Bo Melton at 5K. That's all if Noah Bedrell plays. Indiana, once again, we told you it all depends on the quarterback. McCulley's in play if he plays no receivers. But if Penix or Tuttle play, you play the receivers in cash. All right, next game we got is the Michigan Penn State game. There's some weird to me, it's just a weird slate, but there is some edge here. The Michigan, Penn State in the middle, over under is 48.5. So probably more toward the bottom. Michigan's favored by a point, 24.75 on the road. Penn State's at home, 23.75. So let's start with Penn State. Sean Clifford's 5'8". I think his price actually dropped from last week. I could be wrong, but I think Sean Clifford's price has dropped. If that's true, Clifford's I think is definitely play at 5'8". Even though he's had some negative rushing yards the last couple of games, he threw for over 300 yards against Ohio State. He threw for 361. Last week against Maryland, 363. It's definitely in play, especially with that price going down. His main man, John Dotson's price has gone up, though. Dotson's now 8'8", kind of pushed him out of the cash category. Great game last week. Ended up, especially in the afternoon slate, ended up making me money. Ended up saving a lot of people's lineups. But too high of a price against the Michigan defense, 8'8". You're not going to be able to get there in cash at that price. If you get there, great play. I think Dotson's matchup proof, but it's going to be hard to get there. If you want to go differently, if you want to go receiver result, if you're playing Sean Clifford, no problem going Parker Washington. Then you got Keandre Lambert Smith. Both guys can be Perry Clifford. Remember, Penn State cannot run. They are the worst running team I've seen all this year in college football. You know they're going to have to pass the ball. So if you can't go with Dotson, why not throw out Keandre Lambert Smith? What's Lambert Smith? Lambert Smith is only 3'9". Parker Washington 4'4". Both guys are great plays. Just give me some points scoring. Give me some points scoring in this game. It's got to come somewhere. It's going to come from the air. So on the Michigan side, to me, it's pretty much just about the running backs. Blake Quorum, 6'6". Quorum got hurt last week. Got hurt early in the game, didn't return. I haven't seen any updates yet on him. So if he doesn't play, I bet people ask me, is Hassan Haskins a lock at 7.5? Normally, I would say, yep, he's a lock. Both these guys are awesome runners, top-notch, elite runners. But the problem is, we're going to see him in a little while. There's a few other running backs in the same price that are better matchups, better plays. So Hassan Haskins is more of a GPP play. But if you want to play him in GPPs, play him. Said he could definitely, especially if Blake Corum's out, Hassan Haskins can definitely win you a slate. You can definitely win you a slate. You can definitely go off against Penn State, but to me, he's not a cash play. Last week, he ran a touch ball 27 times as Corman out, 168 with a touchdown. If Quorum plays, you're probably going to see him touch the ball 14 to 18 times. But he is a good play. But the problem is, there's a couple other guys who like better in the 7K range, 7 to 8K range than Hassan Haskins. So to kind of recap this game, like Sean Clifford, possibly play Sean Clifford in cash, play him one of his cheap receivers because Dotson's more of a GPP play. And then Hassan Haskins on the other side, especially if Blake Corum's out. And that's it. I'm not touching Cade McNamara. I already tried the Cornelius Johnson experiment a couple weeks ago. That didn't work out. And that's it. Northwestern and Wisconsin. So first look at this game, you're going to say, "What? We ain't touching this game at all." It's the Wisconsin defense. Looking at the over-unders on this game, we got the second to worst over-under slate, only 41. Wisconsin's at home, though, but they're a 3-touchdown favorite, 3-touchdown to field goal favorite, 24.5 point favorite. So you're not going to run anybody from Northwestern. On the Wisconsin side, Wisconsin is going to run the shit out of the ball. They're going to pound the ball down Northwestern's throat. Northwestern right now is allowing 224 rushing yards per game, the worst number on the slate. The news is, most of you probably know by now, Chaz Malusi is out. Malusi's out. So that brings us to our first lock, running back lock of the slate, and that's Braylon Allen at 8-2. You're making cash lineups, you lock in Braylon Allen. Even if Chaz Mellusi was playing, Allen was getting like 15, 20 touches with Mellusi, I would say he's a good play. But now, if we know that he's the bell cow, he's the lead tailback, he's the only show in town. We think he's going to get 30 touches, but they're going to run a ball down Northwestern's throat. We think he's getting the 30 touches. Braylon Allen becomes a top play to slate, even at 8-2, but the greatest price. But you lock Braylon Allen in. Now, if we think that Wisconsin's going to spread the ball around a little bit with these running backs, and Allen goes down a little bit in touches, maybe 20, 25, still a great play, probably not elite, but I still think he's your cash play. One other guy, there's a couple guys you can look at running back. One other name you can look at is Julius Davis at $3K. Davis touched the ball 7 times last week. The problem is most of these guys got all that running after the blowout. So even though he touched the ball 7 times, he's probably not going to get that this week. So we're thinking Allen's going to be the workhorse. He's been good all year when he's played. But if you want to be somebody different, maybe take a look at Julius Davis at 3K. GVP play. He might end up touching the ball 10 times, 15 times, and 10 times. You run, next thing you know, he's got 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, something like that. So GVP play only. So we have this game. Braylon Allen is your top play. The top place at a slate at 8-2. Knock him in. Georgia, Tennessee. 3:30 is our first 3:30 game. That's Georgia. We've learned usually you don't play anybody against Georgia, and it's tough to play Georgia. This game is kind of weird for Georgia. It's kind of in the middle 56 over-under. Once again, the high is the Ohio State game, 63, and then the Baylor-Oklahoma game, 62. Georgia's over-under is 56 against Tennessee. So the 20-point favorites, but I do have a little interest in Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to make this game a little bit closer than people think against Georgia. I'm a huge Hooker fan from Tennessee. Now, I'm not saying don't go running out and play Hendon Hooker and cash. You don't do that. But I have no problem playing Hooker in a GDP. He's going to be low owned. He's been awesome this year against his last few games. Last week, let me see, he ran the ball. He had 41 yards rushing, 316 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. The game before that, Alabama, 3 touchdowns, 282 yards, 26 yards on the ground. Then before that was at Missouri, I think it was, 108 rushing yards with a touchdown, and then 233 yards in the air, 1 touchdown. Hooker, I think, is a great low-owned GPP play. I think Tennessee is going to make it close, and they're going to push Georgia all 4 quarters. And Hooker's got the balls to make this a game. If you're going to play any receiver from Tennessee, Velus Jones at 4.6, I think, is a decent price. People will probably think I'm crazy for even taking a couple of shots at these Vols. But remember, they're playing in Tennessee, and anybody that's been to a game in Tennessee knows that this place is going to get crazy. So Rocky Top's going to go nuts. So I think they're going to hang, and they're going to score some points. And Jones has gone 20-plus more than a few times this year in PK points. Big play threat. So run some DVPs, run a little Hooker, and Velus Jones will be different. Georgian, I never played Georgia players. Usually I just get through them. If there's anybody I'm looking at from Georgia, if you want to run back, if you're getting game stacks, I'm going to run something back, maybe a Brock Bowers, a 5'8" receiver. I mean, he's kind of high for a tight end, but he's the only guy you possibly play him. He'll score a touchdown for you. All right, let's get out this Georgia game. It's boring. Next game is my Hurricanes. Miami Hurricanes playing Florida State. I think there is some DFS goodness in this game. So look at the over-under. It's the 4th highest in the slate. I think it could even be more than the SMU game. 61 over-under. Miami's a 3-point favorite. 32 implied total. Florida State's 29 in total. Right now, Miami's got the 8th highest, 7th highest total of the slate, 32 implied. So maybe I'm more of a homer, but Tyler Van Dyke, though, once again, first we got to look at this. This is a high implied, high over-under with a tight spread. So Tyler Van Dyke, 8K, I think some play. TVP, though, was at his price, but he had his hiccups in that first game. But since Van Dyke took over, man, Miami's a different team. He's been, those last 3 games, he's averaged 30 points, 30 DK points last 3 games, 3+ touchdowns in every game. And Florida State is a horrible defense. So you can't tell me that Van Dyke is not going to eat this week. I'm not saying run him out in cash, but Van Dyke, I think, is still a great play at 8K. Looking, first of all, I guess let's get right to his running back. Jalen Knighton. I think, to me, Jalen Knighton is 7.9, a couple $100 cheaper than Allen. If you can get Braylon Allen from Wisconsin and Jalen Knighton from Miami in your main lineup, I think you're doing well. But Jalen Knighton is 7.9, so it's a decent price. Knighton, to me, man, especially when you got, I was going to say, when you got Knighton in a high game total, tight spread against Allen, who we all love, though, but Allen's in a game that could be a blowout, and we don't know what's going to happen in the second half. They could sit Allen and play some of these other guys, like the Julius Davis guys. I'm almost close to saying Knighton's a lock to me. And he took over that backfield 4 games ago when Cameron went down. He has not gone below 24 DK points in any of those games. And if he doesn't get done on the ground, they're targeting him. He's got 5 total TDs in his last 4 games to target him in the air. So I think he's going to be lower owned. Everybody's going to Allen, but possibly try to fit both these guys in. Fit Braylon Allen and Jalen Knighton, both of them in your same lineup. You go with three stud running backs this week, with the third being Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker third, or even run the running back to Superflex. But to me, Jalen Knighton's a great play at 7.9. The receivers are all pretty much GBP plays. I like Charleston Rambo, but 8K is too expensive. He's really hooked up. He's really hooked up with Van Dyke. He's clearly the alpha now in Miami. And the Florida State pass defense is bad. But once again, GBP play, roll them out there. Really more than one lineup. Mike Harley, a little bit too cheap at 4.2. GBP only. Any boast from Miami? Keyshawn Smith, I'm not really talking about now, but the problem is Keyshawn Smith has now gone up to 5.1. So looking at Keyshawn's stats. I got people DM me and spoil my mind up here about college basketball, and but Keyshawn Smith he had that great game against Pittsburgh, cut 3 balls, 82 yards, touchdown. Now against Georgia Tech, though, still a touchdown, got 3 balls, 35 yards. If Keyshawn Smith was down to like 4 or 5, I'd say lock him in. But Smith's a GPP play, but you know what? You know he's going to get action. Now, going to the Florida State side, the debate's going to be, is Jordan Travis, what do we do with Jordan Travis? Travis was sick last week, right? And everything I'm seeing, he's healthy now. He's better. If Jordan Travis starts at 6.9, I think Jordan Travis is a play as a cash play at 6.9. Call me crazy. I've seen Jordan Travis have some decent games. Dual threat. I'm trying to find the Miami's defensive stats. But whatever. I think Jordan Travis is a solid runner, solid passer. As long as we know he's playing, because we know the Miami defense sucks. Here we go. So Miami is allowing 269 in the air, 135 on the ground, which isn't too bad. But Miami's got a bad defense, and Miami's always in shootouts. We've seen it. Great, good offense now, bad defense. Jordan Travis, I think, is in play at 6.9. He's the only Florida State player in play. Jashawn Corbin's too expensive at 7K. Even if anything, maybe I'd probably play Trayshawn Ward, if anything, at running back and GBPs. But Jordan Travis is in play at 6'9", and he makes you some ownership. But to me, it's all about Jalen Knighton, the running back from Miami, and then Tyler Van Dyke as our JVP quarterback. All right, now we're going to the Iowa State Texas Tech game. This is kind of a middle of the pack, 58.5 over under. Iowa State's a 10-point favorite. They're on the road. Texas Tech's at home. To me, it's all about Breece Hall. To me, Breece Hall is a stud. But he's 9'5". He's, to me, the best running back in the country. It's a soft matchup. Tech's a pushover. They're allowing 142 yards on the ground. No, he's going to get 20, 25 carries. But every time we know Breece Hall is going to get you there, no matter what, he's going to get you there. It's probably a ceiling game from him. We haven't seen that smash game yet. It's coming. And to me, I think it's this week against Tech. It's just going to be hard. It's going to be hard to get to him in cash unless maybe you go with him in Superflex or find some value elsewhere. But Breece Hall is a great play. His floor is 18. We've seen against Oklahoma State and Iowa, both elite defenses. Texas Tech is not an elite defense. You can get more than 18. I can get you 30, 35. The price is high, but if you can get Breece Hall in your lineup, lock him in. Anybody else in this game? Not really. I mean, Brock Purdy is Purdy is 6'9", 6'8", 6'9". I've used him. We talk about him a lot in October. It is documented how good of a quarterback he is in October. He's not going to break a slate, but he does get a good matchup, and we should see Iowa State roll over Tech this week. But I could see Purdy hitting 2 touchdowns also. So GBP only for Purdy. Breece Hall is your play. Anybody else? You got Charlie Kohler at 4 or 5. We want to play him every week. It's Charlie Kohler. He's a steady tight end. He's going to get 6 to 8 targets. He's going to get you 8 to 10 DK points, but that's it. He's not going to get you any more. He's not going to get you 20 DK points. But especially if we saw him in 4K, 3 to 5 to 4K, a better play. 4 or 5 is a little bit in the higher end of cash. But Charlie Kohler is always a safe play. He's not going to win your GPs. He's not going to break your slate. Let's move on and get away from Iowa State. Minnesota, Iowa. Oh, my God, there's nothing in this game. This game has got an over-under of 37.5. Ain't nothing here. If anything, maybe Tyler Goodson, but Tyler Goodson is 7.3. So if Tyler Goodson was down in the 5s, maybe a play, but too expensive. Not touching anybody in this game. Move on. Now we're almost done here. Second to last game, Purdue, Ohio State. This got the highest over-under of the slate at 63 points. Ohio State's at home, 3-touchdown favorite. Implied at 42. Purdue's got implied at 21. There is DFS plays here, definitely. First of all, we know Ohio State wants to win out. They want to be top 4. They want to look good. So I guess starting Ohio State. To me, CJ Stroud is too expensive. I've been there with CJ Stroud in DFS. Great player, but 9.4, he doesn't run. So 6'4 guy doesn't run. To me, GBP play, but you can always going to get there for you, 9.4. You got receivers. Chris Olave, 6'6". Garrett Wilson, 6'9". To me, this is a Chris Olave week. His big game is coming. To me, was it Wilson last week? This week is going to be Chris Olave. Just the way the numbers are falling. I think I think that's definitely way too cheap for Olave at 6'6". 7 receptions last week against Nebraska, 61 yards. So Olave's had a touchdown every game since week 4, Akron. Minnesota, week 1, he had 2. Then Oregon, Tulsa, those 2 weeks he had nothing. But now he's had a touchdown every week since week 4, Akron. So lock Olave in. It could be a cash play if you want. But if anything, definitely GBP play. Wilson 6'9", same thing, probably more of a GPP play. Then you got Travion Henderson, 8'5". The problem is to me, they always have Henderson just priced up a little bit too much where there's always one or two running backs that are maybe a little bit better. But Purdue right now is much tougher on the pass, giving up 144 yards on the ground. So it is kind of a juicy matchup for Henderson. Yeah, I can see 20, 25 DK points from Henderson, definitely. But once again, I like Knighton and Allen better from Wisconsin. So probably GPP only. On the Purdue side, David Bell. David Bell to me is probably a cash game. Bell is a stud. He's always a lock. To me, it comes down to, do you play Bell in that flex spot or you play three pay-up running backs? But Bell's almost matchup proof. He's gonna get you the targets every game. To me, probably the top receiver in the game right now. He's got over 1,000 yards, 64 receptions on the year. Last week, 11 receptions, 217 with a touchdown against Michigan State. We're gonna see that next game. You beat up on Michigan State. Even before it, Nebraska, 9 receptions, 74 yards. So, and the problem is David Bell, I think it's too cheap at 6'7". Probably lock David Bell in a cash, yeah. And going to his quarterback, Aidan O'Connell. We loved him last week against Michigan State. He's only 5'4". What do you do with Aidan O'Connell this week? I mean, because he is a quarterback one now. There's no more worry about Will Plummer coming in and all that. We know that he's going to drop back probably 35, 40 times against Ohio State. You do beat Ohio State in the air, if anything. So, yeah. So, I guess O'Connell is probably one of the better values of the slate at this price at 5'4". But it comes down to the next game. So if we did not have the Maryland Michigan State game, I would probably say maybe lock in Aidan O'Connell as one of your cheapy value quarterbacks. But let's go right to the next game, Michigan State, Maryland. This game right here is got Lock City all over it. Lock in Baby Tua at 5'9", lock of the day. Michigan State is by far the worst pass defense in college football. They're giving up 326 yards in the air. Everybody's beating them. We see it every week. Why stop now? Yeah, we've seen Baby Tua have some bad games and some good games, but you got to lock him this week at 5'9". Tua's your top quarterback. Just don't overthink this. Now this game is it's in Michigan State, right? Okay, so if Aidan O'Connell could do this to Michigan State last week, why can't little Tua? He ranked second on the slate. He ranked second in pass attempts per game, 37.7. He doesn't complete a lot, but we know about lack of efficiency. But we also know that Michigan State cannot handle any quarterback. So he's actually been kind of a conservative season. He's posting an average depth of target 7.2, complete 70.2% of his passes. Losing Dante Demas didn't help, but it's going to take 17. I mean, he needs 17 points to make value. Just lock Tua in. Lock Tua in as your cash play. Everybody beats on Michigan State. So, who do you run back as receivers? I think Raheem Jarrett's a great play. You can run him in cash. You also have Marcus Fleming. Marcus Fleming is only $4K. So since Dante Demas went down week 5, Maryland's had to rely on Raheem Jarrett, Carlos Carrera, and now the freshman Marcus Fleming. He was a 4-star recruit in 2020. His last 4 games, he got 16 catches, 180 yards, and a touchdown. And per Pro Football Focus, he's second in snaps, second in routes run, since that in that span. So he's played over 100 snaps in the slot, averaging 11.1 air yards per target. I think Marcus Fleming is a great play at 4K. So if you don't want to run Jarrett, you can run Raheem Jarrett. You can also run Marcus Fleming at 4K. Great, cheap value price. On the other side of Michigan State, I think Jalen Reed's a great play. Jalen Reed, you can definitely play Jaden Reed at 6'1" is a great play. Montorie Foster is still only 3'7". Played decent last week. Didn't break the slate or anything, but no problem playing Montorie Foster at 3'7". No problem playing Trey Mosley at 4'6". But I definitely like Jaden Reed at 6'1" for GBPs. And then a last play of the day, Kenny Walker III. Walker is 8. So I didn't realize Kenny Walker's 8'9". So Kenny Walker 8'9" probably becomes our third running back. I think he probably surpasses Breece Hall with Breece Hall's price. There's no way can this Maryland defense hold back Kenny Walker. Absolutely not. Walker's going to run for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, 8'9", lock him in. So if I can get in Knighton, Allen, and Kenny Walker, those 3 running backs, I'm locked in with Tua as one of my quarterbacks, and then figure out who my top quarterback's going to be. Maybe I go cheap, and I like my lineup. So Kenny Walker third, lock him in. Tua, lock him in. Both this game as your core cash plays pretty much. And that's pretty much it for slate. Kind of wrapping back up. I think right now my core plays are going to be on the slate. I'm looking at Kenny Walker the third. I'm looking at Braylon Allen, maybe Knighton. Looking at baby Tua. And then I pretty much got to figure out who is going to be my other. If I'm going to play baby Tua, who is going to be my other quarterback I want to go to? Because Caleb Williams is too expensive. Hate to say it, but maybe Jordan Travis, and then you can get in some of these other bigger names. Maybe a Bohannon, Strauss. I think Strauss too high. Williams is too high. I'm not messing. Maybe Taylor Van Dyke. I'm not messing with Bo Nixon cash. So very interesting. Check out. I'll be talking about this in Discord all week. Check out Discord Saturday morning. That's pretty much it. PrizePicks. Let's hit PrizePicks, and we're out here. I honestly haven't even seen the PrizePicks board yet for this weekend. I'll look at it quick now. Let's see. So right away, I think Sean Clifford's too low. 194 passing yards. 194.5. Take over on Sean Clifford. Yeah, that's definitely a little low for Clifford. Little baby Tua, 299. Take the over. Anybody beats on Michigan State, like we said. Anybody on rushing yards you want to look at? Maybe really jumping out. It's a little bit tight this week, looks like, but hitting it throwing quarterbacks here too. There's no running backs yet that I have to use. Let's look at receiving yards. David Bell 107. That's probably Chris Olave over 74.5. Take that over. I don't mind a Jaden Reed over 74.5. Same with Reed. And is there any? That's probably it. So there's a couple there. If you check, we actually have a free PrizePicks room in our Discord. You can check that out. We'll have all kinds of PrizePicks placed, especially in our articles, because we have a slate tomorrow night too. So they'll kind of like wrap it up. So we have a 2-game slate tomorrow for college football. We'll have that right up with PrizePicks. Also tomorrow, I think it's like a 6 or 8 game college basketball slate starts at 6. I'll right up with that. I'm actually going to be going to the USF Cincinnati game down here in Tampa. You watch USF upset Cincinnati and knock out Cincinnati's playoff hopes. They almost hit Houston last week. And then Saturday, you have college basketball, get a main slate, and then this main slate with some more PrizePicks. So I think that's it. We almost hit an hour of me talking. If anybody has any questions, like I said, you guys, they'll be on demand. Any questions, though, it's a free week at your Fearless Choice. All the articles are free. So check out our Discord. Go to our Twitter, and then you'll see where our website is. You'll see our Discord. Our Discord. It's all the free articles. Especially tomorrow being the college football slate, college basketball slate, and then a whole weekend of NFL, NBA. We have like Euro hoops. We have NASCAR. I don't forget stuff. My man Eric does a great job doing the esports stuff, golf. So a lot going on there. If DK covers it, we cover it, and that's it. I think we're out of here. So good luck, everybody, Saturday. Good luck tomorrow. Hopefully that didn't get crushed by this 9:30 game, this Arizona State game in college hoops. And that's it. Peace. Thanks, Nick.